So I just got out of the theater watching Despicable Me 4. I'm gonna give you my thoughts and full review on the movie. Let's just get this out of the way. This movie is targeted towards children. The franchise has always been targeted towards children. So obviously, this movie isn't targeted to people like me. But I still went to go see this movie, and I gotta give you my review and my full critique on the movie. If I'm being really honest with you, this movie was a mixed bag for me. It is easily the worst out of the 4 movies. But let's talk the positives. Positives. I thought the voice acting in this movie was pretty good. Steve Carell does an amazing job as Gru, and the rest of the cast were great in this movie. I thought the voice acting was great. I thought this movie also was like really pretty. Like the animation in this movie is leagues better than the previous films, and I just thought this movie was really pretty looked at. It looked great. And yeah, I thought the movie looked really good visually. I thought the humor in this movie was both a positive and a negative. I'll talk about why it's a negative in a second. But the reason why I think it's a positive is I thought some of the jokes landed for me. A few jokes landed for me. I did put a smirk on my face. I thought the ending of the movie was really funny, actually. I thought the ending was like the most funniest part of the movie. But other than that, that's where the positives end for me. Now let's talk negatives. Obviously, like I said, the humor was both a positive and a negative for me. And the reason why it's a negative is the Minions. I think that this whole Minions thing, like, just needs to end. Like, the Minions are not funny anymore. Yeah, they were funny back then, but it's just been... they've overstayed their welcome. Like, the Minions aren't funny anymore. They're easily the worst part of this movie. And it's just annoying to see them whenever they're on the screen, because whenever they're on the screen, it's just the worst part of the movie. Like I genuinely dislike the Minions in this movie, and I really don't want to see this again. The story in this movie is so bland and so generic, and is easily the worst out of the entire franchise. There were so many subplots in this movie that did not even need to exist in this film. They added nothing to the overall narrative, and they were just annoying to get through. The whole second act of this film is filled with subplots that don't need to be in this movie. The first and the third act were okay at best, but the second act is just so hard to get through because it's filled with those subplots that add nothing to the overall narrative. And the villain, my god, in this movie, the villain is the worst villain out of the entire franchise. He is only in the movie for like the first act and the third act. And he's just not threatening at all. He doesn't feel like a villain. He's just a nuisance and is a very annoying character. But other than that, this movie was just not for me. I really think that this movie did not need to exist. There was no reason to make a Despicable Me 4. I feel like this franchise has overstayed its welcome. It really needs to die because it's getting really annoying at this point. This movie is clearly a cash grab. Obviously, this movie is going to make so much money because it has the Minions in it. And it's clearly a cash grab. This movie is a cash grab. And it's going to make a lot of money. The kids are going to see it. They're going to love it. And they're going to make a lot. And it's going to make a lot of money. Even though the movie's not that great. It's still going to make tons of money. And yeah. Just overall, I feel like this franchise in general just needs to die. Like, this franchise has overstayed its welcome. And it just needs to end. So yeah. Comment down below what you guys think. And follow for more.